You blink your eyes open, but not to birds chirping or an iPhone alarm. Nope. You're waking up face first in a pile of hay, in a rickety barn that smells like horse sweat and last week's beans. You're not in a house. You don't have a crib. You're not even wrapped in a blanket. You're just there. Congratulations, you've just been born a cowboy. And not the Hollywood kind with nice teeth and perfect stubble. You're the real kind. It's the 1880s. You're somewhere in dusty, sun-fried Texas or Kansas, or maybe Arizona. Who knows, because maps barely exist and nobody asked you anyway. You're 1 hour old and you've already got responsibilities. Your mom wipes you off with an old saddle rag and immediately hands you to your dad, who looks at you and says, "Guess he's gonna shovel horse crap like the rest of us." You are the American dream in a diaper. Your home, it's not a house. It's a wooden shack that looks like it lost a bar fight with a tornado. No electricity, no running water, and every surface gives you splinters, even your pillow. In privacy, not a chance. You share one room with 7 people. A dog, 2 chickens, and a goat named Peaches. You're dirt poor. Your first toy is a rock. Your second toy is a smaller rock. By the time you're 4, you've already learned how to catch chickens, clean stables, and dodge the angry goose that guards the outhouse like it's Fort Knox. If you oversleep, you get a boot to the ribs. And if you complain, Grandpa tells you about how he grew up without dirt. School? What school? The closest one is 50 miles away, and even if it were closer, your parents say reading is for city folk who drink tea with 2 hands. Instead, your education comes from watching your dad cuss at cattle and your mom cook beans 17 different ways. You've eaten more beans by age 6 than most humans eat in a lifetime. Beans for breakfast, beans for lunch, and if you're lucky, extra beans for dinner. And water? Let's talk about water. You drink from a metal bucket that may or may not have had a raccoon in it earlier. Sometimes it's brown. You drink it anyway. By age 7, you've seen your first gun, your first snake bite, and your first man throw up while riding a horse. You've also learned 3 facts of cowboy life. Everything can kill you. Everything smells bad. If it moves, it might be edible. Your first real job comes at age 9. You're now in charge of rounding up chickens, feeding the hogs, and collecting eggs without getting pecked into oblivion. You also learn how to ride a horse, which mostly means falling off a horse repeatedly until you build a pain tolerance stronger than most people's marriages. Horses don't like you yet, but you'll get there. At age 11, you're promoted to junior cowpoke. That's cowboy for do whatever the adults don't want to do. This includes hauling hay bales, digging holes, fixing fences, and chasing down runaway cows, who definitely don't want to be chased. Sometimes you ride out with your dad and his buddies. It's supposed to be training, but it's really just you trying to survive dehydration, saddle sores, and the unbearable heat, while your dad tells the same 3 stories about the time he punched a bobcat. You've heard the bobcat story so many times, you start rooting for the bobcat. At 13, you're practically a man. You've got a slingshot in your pocket, calluses on your hands, and a weird mustache that looks like it got scared halfway through growing. You can shoot a tin can off a fence post, wrestle a goat, and sleep through coyotes howling. And now it's time for the big leagues cattle drives. That's right, you and a few crusty cowboys ride for hundreds of miles with thousands of pounds of beef on the move. Your job, don't die. Keep the cows moving. Stay awake. Don't fall off your horse. And if you do fall off, don't get trampled by 1,000 hooves. Easy. You sleep on the ground, eat beans again, and use your saddle as a pillow, which is ironic because your saddle smells like the inside of a wet boot. If it rains, you get wet. If it snows, you freeze. If it's too hot, you just melt into the dirt like a sweaty crayon. And let's not forget the threats. Wolves, coyotes, rattlesnakes, bandits, angry bulls, stampedes, flash floods, lightning. And let's not forget old Jericho, the one cow that just hates you for no reason and tries to kick you every time you turn your back. By 15, you've learned how to tie a lasso, shoot straight, fix a broken wagon wheel with chewing tobacco and prayer, and cook beans over a fire without burning them. You've also been kicked by a horse, pecked by a chicken, bitten by a snake, and mildly cursed by a drunk fortune teller. But you're not just tough, you're adaptable. You can tell time by the sun, direction by the stars, and the weather by how your knee hurts in the morning. You've seen towns rise and fall. You've met gamblers, preachers, saloon girls, snake oil salesmen, and men who swear they once fought a ghost bear in Colorado. You believe them, because at this point, anything feels possible. At 17, you're officially a cowboy. Not an apprentice, not a junior. You've got your own horse, your own pistol, and a reputation for being able to spit a watermelon seed over 20 feet, which in cowboy circles makes you royalty. You might get hired to guard stagecoaches, protect ranches, or lead more cattle drives. You might even try to settle down and start your own ranch. But land's expensive, and all you really own is your saddle, your boots, and a hat that's more holes than hat. Some days you ride into town. You grab a bath finally, maybe hit the saloon for some watered down whiskey and a slice of pie if you're rich. But usually you're broke. So you sit on the porch and tell wild stories to anyone who will listen. Stories about bar fights, haunted mines, lost gold, and the time you outran a cougar on foot because why not? Life is hard. You don't get paid much. You risk your neck daily. You get rained on, frozen, sunburned, bruised, and once you even get kicked so hard, you forget your own name for a week. But you keep riding. Then one day, while crossing the plains, a storm rolls in. Lightning cracks, horses panic, and the cattle start to stampede. You do your job right into the chaos, yelling, waving your arms, trying to turn them, and just when it seems like the herd might crush everything, they stop. You're soaked, exhausted, and your horse is mad at you, but you're alive. Again, by 25, you've lived 5 lifetimes. You've dodged bullets, snakes, heartbreak, frostbite, and food poisoning from a bean stew that should have been illegal. You've watched friends disappear into the dust, and strangers ride into your life with wild eyes and wilder stories. And eventually, maybe you find a plot of land. Maybe you marry someone who doesn't mind that you snore like a steam engine. Maybe you hang up your hat and become the guy on the porch, telling tall tales to the next kid with dirt on his boots and fire in his eyes. But no matter where you end up, one thing's for sure, you were a cowboy. And yeah, it was dirty, dangerous, and often disgusting. But it was real. And you wouldn't trade it for all the clean water and hot showers in the world. Probably.